Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a top 5 today. It's been a hot minute since I did a top 5. I think I did my favorite foundations, probably 8 months ago, 9 months ago. I don't think that was my top 5. That was just because I had a list of favorites that I wanted to share with y'all. First of all, I posted on my Instagram what y'all wanted to see first. A powder, bronzer, blush, or highlight, and blush won out by a landslide. Had the most votes. It was like 85%. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to be talking about my top 5 blushes. It's been almost a year and a half since I did my top 5 blushes. The last video I did talking about blushes, I included palettes, I included creams, I included powders. I'm going to mostly talk about powder blushes today, but I am going to show you my top 3 favorite creams as well. Now, when I sat there thinking, I didn't even come in here and look at my blush collection. I just was like, okay, what are my top 5? Got them real quick. Off the top of my head, I knew what my top 5 were going to be. And then I realized all of them were peach. And if you don't know, that's my favorite color of makeup. I love peach eyeshadow, peach highlights, peach blushes. So what I did was I took those 5 favorite peaches and I realized the majority of them, I have multiple blushes within that same range. So I'm going to show you my all-time favorite, but then I'm also going to swatch a few others that I have, maybe show you my favorite pink or neutral within that line. And then I will make sure to tell you which is my favorite, which is going to be a peach. It's just what I tend to go for. I feel like it looks the best on my skin, but I also love a good pink blush. So let's just go ahead and hop in. I'll start with powder blushes. The first one I'm going to talk about has been a favorite of mine since I got it, and this is actually more neutral. I do have a peachy, pinky option within this line, but it is actually from Dior. And I've talked about this a lot, especially in my Sephora videos, my recommendation videos, because you can get this there and I absolutely love it. My favorite is 459 Charnel. So if you can see, it has a little bit of a warmer undertone. It definitely leans more peach than pink, but it is very neutral compared to some of the other peaches that I'm going to be showing. So this, for instance, I would wear with any eye color, any eyeshadow, any lipstick. It's going to go with anything. For me personally, very soft and silky. This one is, I don't know if they technically consider it a matte. It might have like a slight sheen to it. See how neutral that is? It's not flat matte, but it certainly isn't glittery either. So pretty. Now the other Dior that I have is number 219, which this is the limited edition, and they call this New Look, but this is also Rouge Trafalgar, or Rose Trafalgar. One of those. It's number 219. And this one is more of that peachy pink shades. But I think once you put it up next to that, you can see, okay, yes, that Charnel is definitely more neutral. So definitely a favorite of mine. Charnel is something I reach for very, very often, but that gives you a couple of color ideas. Those are the only 2 Diors that I have, but I'm always in the market. So if you have a pretty pink favorite from the Dior line, be sure and let me know. The next blush that I'm going to talk about is from Clinique, and this is a newer favorite of mine. I feel like it wasn't until closer to the end of last year that I really started loving these Cheek Pop Blush Pops from Clinique. And I've talked a lot about them recently because it has been recent that I have discovered them and loved them. They're definitely not a new product by any means, but they are so good. This is a Baked Gelée formula. This one in particular is Ginger Pop, and I absolutely love it. As you can see, it's a very pretty peach. This is like a peachy orange almost, but oh, it's just so pretty on the cheeks. Really makes them pop. It's not matte, but being that Baked Gelée, it just has a really pretty sheen to it. Now, another one that I have, this is actually the Cheek Pop Pearl, which is supposed to have a little bit even more of a sheen. This is Garnet Pop. And if you really look hard at it, it has a little bit more of a sheen, but it's not too much. So if you find a color that you like within the pearl section of the collection, I don't want you to be like, oh, it's just going to be glittery, because it's not. And then another one that I absolutely adore, especially if you are a neutral lover and you don't want to have to think about what blush goes with what eyeshadow and what lipstick, this is going to be your best friend. This is Nude Pop, and it is one that came highly recommended from a lot of y'all when I first started talking about these. And I trust you, and it's for good reason, because you give me good recommendations. That is Nude Pop. Now, obviously, it's, you know, a lighter blush, so it's not going to work on every skin tone, but it does show up on mine. And again, it's one of those don't have to question it type of colors. It's going to go with everything. Now, another color that I have is Heather Pop, and this is in like a little gift with purchase, but I'll go ahead and swatch that since I have it out. And this one is very similar to Garnet Pop. Well, I say that, but it's pinkier. So Garnet Pop is right here. It's more of that like mauve purple. And then this is Heather Pop. But they're affordable, in my opinion. You can get them at Ulta, so you can use those points. Definitely check the Clinique website out as well, because if you don't know, their concealer is my favorite concealer of all time. So I regularly check their website for deals so that I can get that in bulk, basically, at a good price. So check the website as well. I will link both to Ulta and Clinique down in the description box. Now, the next one is probably my oldest favorite out of the bunch, and this is from Hourglass. This is the Ambient Lighting Blush in Dim Infusion. What a gorgeous color this is. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit lighter as well, but I still feel like I can wear it in the summer when my skin tone is its darkest, and it still gives this beautiful flush, peachy goodness on the skin. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just gorgeous. And I feel like even though this is a lighter blush, honestly, any of these ambient lighting blushes, see, it's swatches. Okay, here's the thing with the ambient lighting products, especially the blushes. These swatches do not do them justice, especially like Mood Exposure. I used to have that. I don't know what happened to it. This one doesn't do it justice. I have this smaller one. This is Diffused Heat, which is going to be more of a coral pinky option. Another thing with these blushes is that if you have a chance to go in store and be able to see the blush that you're getting, that is Diffused Heat, which looks even lighter than Dim Infusion, because this particular one has more of the ambient lighting powder in it versus the pigment of the blush. So that's why I was saying, if you have a chance to go in store and be able to open the box and see, I would try to find a marbling that has more of the pigment color versus more of the powder color. You're just going to get a better result, in my opinion. That goes for the bronzers as well. But I love the blushes. I have a lot of blushes within their palettes, the Hourglass palettes that they sell, their holiday palettes, their trio palettes, their strobe blushes, which have a little bit more of a shimmer to them. I have quite a few of those. Those are deep in my kit, so I'm not going to dig those out, but I love them all. But my favorite is Dim Infusion. Now let's talk about the one I have on my cheeks today, and that is from Chantecaille, or as Audrey Kate likes to call them, Chanticleer. She will not call them anything else. Chantecaille blushes are so, so, so good. They come in these beautiful little pebble-looking packages, really great for travel. They're not heavy, but they're still luxurious, as is everything with Chantecaille. And the one I have on my cheeks today, and my favorite out of the bunch, is Laughter, which is the coral blush. So these are the philanthropy blushes. So each purchase is going to help a certain cause. So the coral blush is going to help the coral reefs, and so on and so on. You can definitely check out their website for more information, but it is now, you can maybe see, I've used this so much, but there's kind of a coral indent in that, right? But I've used it so much, it's almost gone. So that's coral, the very pretty coral shade. There's also Bliss, which is the butterfly. Now this is a very, very light shade. So if you are fair, like it may not even show up as a swatch, but if you have super fair skin tone, this is going to be very pretty on you. There is Grace, which is the sea turtle, another really pretty peach color, lighter than Laughter or coral. but that's Grace right there. And then if you like a pinky blush, I would definitely check out Joy, which is the Wild Horse. You can see how pretty that is. I do often reach for this if I want a pink flush to the cheeks. It's very, very pretty. So that is Joy, Wild Horse. And then another reason I love these is because they sell them in refills. So it goes far for sustainable efforts. You can buy the blush in the compact. There's a little hole in the back that you can push the blush out and refill if you want. So this one I just have in a refill, but it is Emotion and it is the B. So it's another pretty peachy shade. I feel like this one is the most peachy of the bunch. Not necessarily coral, but peach. Super high quality, great pigmentation, blends out well. I mean, all of these do or they wouldn't be in my favorites, but I do love the Chanticleer blushes. Okay, that's 4 out of 5 for the powder blushes. Can you guess what my all-time favorite blush is? If you haven't guessed, you may not have watched quite enough of my videos to know that the Jane Iredale blushes are some of my very favorite blushes. Now, I am not going to swatch all of these. I will put a link in the card, and I'll try to remember to put it down by the actual blush link as well of a video where I did swatch all of them. But I will show you my my favorite pink and my favorite peach. My favorite pink is one that I used in my Get Ready With Me on Instagram this past Sunday. So you can see it in action if you want to go check that out. It is under my highlights as Dermablend. And this is clearly pink. It's just so pretty. It's very pink in the pan. It can be a little like frightening if you aren't used to, you know, pink blushes, but you'll be able to see, especially in that video and the swatch, it just gives a really pretty flush. It's a very natural flush, like you're cold, right? You just walked in from the cold. You got that flush to your cheeks. That is what this gives me. I really like this specific color in the winter because of that flush nature that it gives the cheeks. Now let's talk about my favorite color, and this probably my favorite blush of all time if I had to pick. And you're gonna be able to tell because look at that big old pan you can see in the middle. This is Sheer Honey. This is not only one of my favorite colors as blush, it is one of my favorite eyeshadow colors as well. Now this is definitely more neutral than some of the other peaches that I have shown, but it does fall in that side of the spectrum. This is one kind of like Charnel and Nude Pop that I would say you could wear with any kind of eyeshadow or lipstick. It's just so pretty. And when I talk about a look that I get commented on and complimented on the most, it is when I legit only wear this as an eyeshadow. I get so many compliments on my eye makeup and I'm like, it's one shade that I blend into the crease. A little bit might get on the lid. I'm not real specific with it. Stick on some mascara, pop this on the cheeks as well, and never fails that someone comments on it. It's just my go-to, as you can see. I love it. I have backups, don't want to be without it. So that is my roundup for powder blushes. Now I'll show you real quick my 2 favorite blush brushes to use with those. This is the IT Cosmetics, and I talked about this in my brush video, but if you didn't see it, the Soft Touch Blush Brush. Now this can only be purchased in this specific brush. Now they've got other blush brushes, but this specific one can only be purchased in a set. So I will link the set. I love all the brushes that come within that set. So I don't think you'll be disappointed with any of them, but I did want to mention that you can't buy this specific one separately. However, it is one that I have used for years. And then this is the BK Beauty 107 brush. I like to mention this because it is my favorite BK Beauty brush for blushes. And a lot of y'all I know have the full set. So I like to just lay this on the side and swipe it up the cheek for a nice flush of color. So those are my 2 favorite brushes for blushes. Now let's real quickly talk about cream blushes because I know a lot of y'all prefer to use creams, or you will tell me blush just does not stay on my skin, right? Like it just is the first thing to go when I wear makeup. I can't see it, but I need that color. How do I get it to stay longer? And I highly recommend layering a cream blush under a powder blush for that longevity. It's also really pretty to layer a little bit of different color. It gives extra dimension and you can almost just use your face as a palette, an artist palette, to make your own color of blush. So I really like to do that as well with creams and powders. But then I know there's some of y'all who don't like the look of powder on the skin and only want creams. So this is for both of those camps, and I'm going to show you my 3 favorite formulas for cream blushes, and then some of them, well, most of them I have at least more than one color. So the Kjaer Weis blushes I've talked about a lot. These are very, very, very good quality. Now I have 2 shades in them, and one is a pinky shade and one is a more neutral or peach shade. If I had to pick, can you guess which one I would say? The neutral peach. But honestly, you'll see in the swatch, the pink is also a nice, pretty rose neutral. It's not too bright, doesn't have too much of a blue undertone. So this pink right here is Reverence, and then this peachy neutral shade is Sun Touched. So pretty. They're cream, so they give that really pretty sheen to the skin. They blend out very easily. I've always loved them, and these are definitely my 2 favorite colors. I've swatched all of them, but these are just, they're so good. They are also one that are refillable, so they're very, very heavy compact packaging, but you only have to buy the compact once. Kjaer Weis is more of a luxury brand, so you are gonna pay a little bit of a heftier price tag up front, but they honestly have refills for almost all of the, I would say 99% of their products. So you keep that compact and you only have to buy the refills from then on. This is a newer cream blush discovery for me. I discovered this last year, and this is from Elima Pure. Now, if you watch my Elima Pure video, you can see me use this color right here, which is called Crush, as a lipstick. Very, very, very pretty color, but these are also fabulous cream blushes. So this is definitely darker than I would normally choose, but it blends out beautifully. And again, makes for a gorgeous berry lipstick. So if you have a darker skin tone, this would be a fabulous blush on you. If you like this color, it's a great lipstick as well. Now, a new addition is more on that neutral, little bit peachy side, especially compared to Crush. And this is Blossom. Oh yeah, Blossom is just right up my alley. So you can see Blossom right there. So definitely 2 very different colors, but the formula is great. Again, they blend out fabulous. I don't find that any of these cream blushes really disappear very fast on my skin, but again, if you set it with one of those powders, it's gonna last you all day and then some. So that is Crush and Blossom in the Elima Pure cream blushes. Then finally, I've talked about these quite a bit and I love them so much. They're from Fit Glow Beauty and they are their Lumi Firm blushes. So I have 4 of them and I definitely have a favorite. I'm gonna swatch all of them and see if y'all can guess which one it is. This one is Joy. Hopefully you can see it. It can also be used on me as like a peach highlight shade, but if you're very fair, it's going to be a great blush. I love it as a highlight as well because it's got that peach undertone. And I just absolutely love these little globes of product. So cute. This one is Kindly. It's a really pretty coral shade. This is Pop, which is also a coral, but it's got a little bit of a pinkiness to it. It has a little bit more shine than Kindly. And then this one's called Buff, and I think this could technically be like a contour bronzer for some, but I really like it as a very neutral cream blush. So that is Buff. So those are the 4 blush shades that I have. Now, if you haven't guessed, my favorite is actually Pop, which is right here, because it does give that beautiful pop of color to the skin. It gives a very bright, like I just worked out flush to the cheeks, which I love. And again, I talked about my favorite cream blush brush, but I will in my brush video, but I'll go ahead and tell you again, it is the Royal & Langnickel Omnia BOM 185 brush. But honestly, any very dense type of foundation brush like this, kabuki type style brush, is gonna be perfect. And I like to just stamp my cream blushes in. And then again, I will sometimes go over them with a powder blush and sometimes I'll just keep them as creams. So I know that was a lot of swatching, a lot of colors, but hopefully you enjoyed the fact that I showed you more than just one color, because it would have just been a collection of peaches. So I wanted to give y'all a range, and I think you can see by the amount of blushes I have in each or from each brand, they truly are my favorite. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I will list and link everything down in the description box that I talked about. If you have any questions, let me know. And of course, share your favorite blush down in the comment section so we can all make some lists for what we want next. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Let me know what you want the next top 5 to be, and I will definitely film that within the next month or so. I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, safe, and sane, and that most of all, you go out and have a very blessed day.